welcome to another episode of the Trans 101 series. Today, I am talking to you about hysterectomies. So hysterectomy is not actually the correct term of what I'm going to be talking about. The correct term of what I'm going to be talking about is called a total hysterectomy with an oophorectomy. Alright, so I'm going to break that down for you because you're like, what does that even mean? A hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus. A total hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus and the cervix. A total hysterectomy with an oophorectomy is a removal of the cervix, the uterus, and the ovaries, as well as the fallopian tubes. So to make it easier on everyone, instead of me saying, oh, a total hysterectomy with an oophorectomy, I'm just going to say hysterectomy. But please know that I'm talking about the one that removes everything. All of those organs down there completely gone. There is a big myth in this community that you absolutely need a hysterectomy if you are trans and if you are on testosterone. Now, this isn't true, and the myth originally was that you need to get it within 2 to 5 years of being on testosterone or you're gonna develop cancer. The doctors had no idea what was gonna happen. They just assumed, oh yeah, you know, some people will develop cancer because we don't really know what happens, so just in case, we're gonna tell people to get a hysterectomy. Now this isn't true. There are no trans indications that you need a hysterectomy. That doesn't exist, all right? It's not a thing. But I will say two aspects that are super important, okay? It is recommended to get a hysterectomy if you are not going to be getting pap tests and pelvic exams. All right, now the reason for that is that you're not able to check for precancerous cells or any type of cyst or any type of bump or anything like that in the ovaries when you're doing a pelvic exam. I can understand how some people would absolutely never want to get a pap test or a pelvic exam because they are very invasive and they're touching an area that a lot of trans men are not comfortable with. So if you're not going to do that, it is recommended to get a hysterectomy. So the other aspect that would require you to get a hysterectomy is if you get a pap test and a pelvic exam and your results show up abnormal or you have precancerous cells, usually, all right, in cis women, what they would do is they would remove the aspect that is precancerous. But for trans men, a lot of trans men that hear the word, this is precancerous, they'll just say, remove everything, I don't want to take the chance. And I don't want to have to ever go through something invasive like a pap test or a pelvic exam ever again. So those are the two aspects where I would say it is recommended for you to get a hysterectomy. But there is no medical trans, like you are on testosterone, that means you're gonna get cancer. That doesn't exist, all right? There have been documented cases of trans men who get ovarian cancer. It does happen, but that also happens to cis women. There is literally no research and no medical proof that there is a link between testosterone and getting ovarian cancer. And there's also no link with cis women getting ovarian cancer and that being linked to, I don't know, something else. So it's basically, it's not linked. And honestly, to be able to do this type of research would be, let's research like 1 million people who were assigned female at birth, and then the ones who are trans and go on testosterone, let's follow them as well as the same time as the cis women, and just see who develops ovarian cancer. And if the trans men develop ovarian cancer more than the cis women, why is that? Is there different life choices? Is it the way they were raised? All of these different little things that would have to be researched. It would be very hard to research. And yes, you don't have to do that big of a research. I'm guessing you can also take people who are all the same age. All of these people who were assigned female at birth who are 15, and then also make sure that there are a group in there that are also trans and then that go on testosterone at the same time and have no other medical issues and kind of all live in the same area, because cancer is caused by so many other things in the world, right? So we need to take that into consideration as well. So I know I seem very angry and very like about this, but it is a very big myth, and I am very tired of hearing that you need to get a hysterectomy if you're trans. No. You need to get a hysterectomy if you're trans if you're not gonna get tested. That is super important. So there are other reasons why people would get hysterectomies, all right? It's not just what I'm talking about with cancer. Some people have fibroids, although fibroids can also just be removed, but some people rather just have a hysterectomy. There are also cramps that are associated with it. Dysphoria is one of them. Some people, just the idea of having those organs inside them and them really associating that with being female and woman, for them that's just too much dysphoria and they would rather just get them removed. So that's one of the big reasons why a lot of trans men do get a hysterectomy. Another big reason is that there are a lot of places, states, and countries in the world that require you to get a hysterectomy in order to change your gender marker. Like I said, some people have precancerous things, some people have endometriosis, some people have PCOS, some people have abnormal bleeding and all of this stuff. But here's the thing. All of these conditions that I'm talking about, all of them except dysphoria, I guess, are all things that can also happen to cis women. So I'm just here, this video is really just about the myth of you have to get a hysterectomy. I'm here to tell you, you do not have to get a hysterectomy. But before you chop that video down and make it seem like I'm telling everyone not to get a hysterectomy and you're like blackmailing me, all these things, you need to go get a pap test and you need to go get a pelvic exam as well, is what I'm saying. Anyways, that's it for this video. This video was really more about the myths, but hysterectomies are something that a lot of trans men do want, and that's something that we shouldn't shame people for. And just because I'm talking about like, you don't need to get it, absolutely not. I'm not saying that doesn't mean don't get it. I'm saying if you feel like you want a hysterectomy and you need one, you should absolutely get one. But don't in your mind think it's because I'm going to get ovarian cancer. You know what I'm saying? Or if you are absolutely like never gonna go get a pelvic exam, never gonna go get a pap test, then absolutely go get a hysterectomy. But please don't associate testosterone equals cancer equals hysterectomy, because you know what? This can also happen to cis women. So even if you take the testosterone part, you're like, oh, cancer equals hysterectomy, sure, but what's the other part here? This is like the world. Things that cause cancer, it's there. Testosterone is not here. It's not something that causes cancer. Anyways, I will put some links in the description of information that I've gotten in the past that have helped me learn more about this, and let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.